Well, welcome to Independence Mustang Wrestling. I'm Danny Johnson, sitting alongside Kurt House. We're got the varsity action underway here. Kind of hectic junior high schedule tonight that ran a little late, and sorry to get to you so late, but here we go.
Well, at least we get to start here. So jumping right in here at the fray at 190, where we have Braylon Bieber, and I didn't catch if this was the ranked wrestler out of Decorah, but I think they're both ranked here. So
now we got a top 10 matchup. You know, Braylon Beaver's ranked 8th, and Tommy Sexton ranked 3rd, and he's come out and got a takedown right away here, Kurt. You know, looks pretty good on top here, riding tough. Beaver gets up and gets his escape.
Yeah, we're going to jump right in here and probably noticed right away that one of the changes that we're seeing in high school wrestling is the 3-point takedown. So that's going to change some tactics this year. So hopefully we won't mess it up too many times, calling for 2 instead of 3. So.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to be making that mistake on you for sure. But it's an interesting rule. You know, what we talked about a little pre-broadcast. You know, I think it's really been good for college wrestling to create some action. We'll see how it does at the high school level.
For certain, and you know, a few other things we're going to notice will be a potential 4-point near fall, which has been in college as has the 3-point takedown, and then the single point of contact. Only 1 point of contact has to be inbounds for the action to continue. So we'll look for those things kind of as the year goes.
Yeah, I think all interesting rules. You know, controversy as we come to the end of the first period here. We got a 3-1 match. You know, I think it's going to change things a little bit. You know, especially you get out like an independence mat here where we got a nice area offside the circle where they can keep wrestling right on the edge of the mat.
Yeah, for sure. That, and you know, some of these gyms are a lot tighter. If we get into tournaments where the mats are a little bit closer, it could be. Those are things that, you know, may change the action. So
we got a 1-point escape by Decorah here. We're 4-1, 1:40 left in the second period. You know, another thing probably to note is as our listeners are watching here, there's a 3-point takedown by Decorah.
Yeah, really nice reshot on that. Bieber kind of took a half shot, and Decorah wrestler had a nice reshot for 3 points.
You know, we talked about this a little bit pre-broadcast, but at National Guard Night here in Independence, you know, they've got some donated singlets to them. You know, sharp-looking singlets, and for a great cause.
Yeah, really neat. We noticed the girls who wrestled are wrestling now in them before, and I tell you, they look pretty sharp.
Yeah, a lot of wrestling, as we talked about. That 1 point of contact already coming into a point here on the edge of the match. You know, Bieber working hard to try to get to his base, and 1 point kind of running some clock off here.
Yeah, just needs to get that wrist back and work up to his base. And again, you know, first match and the first time you've had to make weight this year. It's all those things, you know, take into account, and you jump right in wrestling a top 10 foe. So yeah. It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, you know, you talk about the in shape thing. We just got a stall call there. Just got to work a little bit more on bottom, but you know, things will really come around. I think it's good to come out and get the rust knocked off here. You know, you got the big Cliff Keen coming up this weekend, and it's not going to get any easier for the kids coming this weekend.
Boy, that's for sure. That's always a tremendous tournament. 2 days wrestling hard, and the competition is as good as there is in the state. So, you know, and I tell you, looking at Braylon Bieber here, he had a really nice offseason. He was a state qualifier last year. Did a nice job on the backside, and was really close to being on the podium last year as a freshman making state, and had a great off season, and was a Fargo qualifier, and again was another, I think, one match from.
Went to blood round.
Yeah.
So we start the third here. It's 7-1. Decorah advantage here. Braylon Bieber down 7-1. But as we talked about with the new ruling, a couple moves, he could be right back in this really easily.
Yeah, if you can get a 3-point takedown here and you can get some near fall points, you're right back into this match. Decorah in on the leg there and cutting the corner. He's got to keep working that hard on that whizzer.
Yeah, he's got that stuck in, but he's going to give up the 3.
And in the same regard with that, now it gets to be 10-1 in a match like this, which again is a really competitive match where we have Decorah and Independence. Indy, I think we're ranked 10 and 13, and Decorah's 13 and 12, depending on which where we look. So it's going to be a tight match, and these kind of matches where it gets to be 10-1 are important for bonus points.
Boy, it is. At this point, work on escape. Anything you can do to score a point and keep yourself, from just a major and not getting to more. And Bieber's doing a good job here. He's just got to work up to a base and keep working.
That's for sure. And he'd kind of been nursing an ankle problem through football, so he didn't get a lot of playing time towards the last month. So I would imagine just getting back into wrestling shape itself is challenging enough, and then to do it after having to sit out with an ankle makes it a little more of a challenge as well.
Well, and you talked about it a little bit, the in-shape football, in-shape wrestling, and I know Bieber's had to come down 10, 15 pounds, right away, you don't know what the eating habits are or what they had to do to get here. So sometimes, early in the season, as we've both had boys, you know what it's like. I mean, these kids could be facing some challenging times to get on weight and get their eating right, and it all plays a factor early on.
Well, that's for sure. Thanksgiving was generally not a lot of fun during wrestling season. So
the Johnson household struggled with that.
So did the houses. So it was good.
Well, we got a 9-1 win for Decorah. It's gonna start the duel out here in the first match at 190. It's going to be 4-0 Decorah after first match.
Yeah, I mean that we jumped right into it, and so now at 2:15 looks like we've got Mikey Bailey coming out for Indy and
Ethan Coonan.
Ethan Coonan. So don't know much about that. I know Mikey last year. He got to wrestle a little bit of varsity here and there. Coach Doyle has some great things to say about him. Particularly just his work ethic. He's just he's a tireless worker. I think he's the kind of kid you want on your squad. He just works hard and smart and gets to it.
We talked about that in the pre-broadcast. Most generally, I always say, all the coaches will say this, but if you come in and you lift weights and you work hard for 2-3 years, most generally you'll find your way in a lineup. And Mikey's that type of kid.
Yeah.
And when Coach Doyle says this kid works hard, you can bet you're going to see more of him.
That's for sure. And I don't think those are things that Coach Doyle gives out to everyone. He particularly claims he's a hardworking kid, and he's a really bright, smart kid. Does well academically, and so his future is going to be bright.
Yeah, and I watch it in other sports too. Oh, he's in a nice single. Nice single. He run his feet, got it finished.
Oh, yeah.
Get the arm around the waist there. Yep, got it.
Nice.
There's 3-point takedown.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Really changed his level just a little bit and turned that corner and did a really nice job of scoring those 3.
Boy, he really exploded through that.
Yeah.
More of that, and now you see why he's out there right there. That's good stuff.
And I tell you, he ended up, getting to play quite a bit and had a number of starts in football with a really good Independence football team this year, which that has got to just help him with his confidence and just his physicality of going from football into wrestling.
Absolutely. And we haven't hit on this, but it doesn't matter if it's Independence football, wrestling, baseball, basketball. You're going to have to work hard to get in the lineup, and just doing the simple things and not getting engaged isn't going to probably get it done. And it's tough for the younger kids to come in and realize that and work hard.
And this year, looking at our lineup and the depth, Wade's working to get that cradle locked up here. That'd be nice. We have a number of the bigger kids at 190, 215, 285. There's probably 10 or 11 kids there, which is fantastic to have in your wrestling room.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Doyle a little bit preseason, and he was saying in the wrestling room it's fun. We got 6-8 kids that are really battling it out, and they're making each other better every day, and that's what it takes. Come late January to get the team rolling in the right direction. End of the first period here, we're 3-0. Mikey had a really nice ride there. I think the only thing that we lack from the college now is the ride time, because he'd have done a really nice job with that. So,
yeah, that's and he's really doing a really nice job of coming out and getting to it, turning into that, and they're going to work to get an escape or a reversal and extend this lead a little bit.
He's done a nice job to turn and face here. Let's just see if he can get something done with it. A little history. I know we didn't get to do much for pregame, so we're trying to throw a lot in here at you. But the dual record with Independence Decorah is just 2-0 in Independence favor. They haven't wrestled each other a lot in duels, and their Independence is 2-0 in that battle.
Well, and I'll tell you, last year, having gone up, and I think Decorah gave us everything we could handle last year, and it was a kind of a good starter and a good a rude awakening, a little bit of a wow, we got to be ready to go, and we came away with that win, obviously, but we had to work for it. So
hit set.
So a little break in the action here, and I think Bailey is still down. Quick off the whistle and sit out. Oh, nice. Cleared those hips finally and got out. And did a really good job at controlled hand and got that 1-point escape, making it 4-0.
Really doing a lot of nice hand fight and working inside position. Got right back in on that single again.
Nice.
Going to finish it. There's another 3.
Yeah.
It's going to make it 7-0, 1:15 left in the second period.
And this is a spot where now we have to look for those bonus points and look. Okay, gave up 1. That's one where we can give up 1, but don't give up 2 on the edge of that mat.
Yeah, I think it's nice to go back neutral. I think Mikey's really shown that he can get in and finish the shot. So let's go back to work here and see what happens.
Kind of 2 different Mikeys. Really a strong, powerful kid, a little more compact. The other wrestler's a little bit longer arms, so maybe want to do a few other things. So a little bit of a contrast in style.
Yeah, we talked about the rankings a little bit. You hit on it, Kurt. These are important matches for both sides. You got a guy that we've got out there that doesn't have a lot of varsity experience, and he's really went out and done a nice job for us. And I'm sure Decorah's got something real similar going on by the looks of it, and we seem to be winning the battle.
I like he's going forward. He just keeps going forward. He's hand fighting and he's getting after it, which is really what you want to see out of your wrestlers, particularly on this first match of the year. It's just really getting to it.
We got a technical violation, grabbing the headgear on Decorah. Okay. So Mikey's going to get another point here. It's going to be 8-1, third period here, start of the third.
Yeah, I'd like to see that last double again and score us another takedown and get this major going. Another break in action. I think there's some discrepancy in the timing. We're trying to figure out the timing here. So. I think there was 20 seconds maybe that didn't come off that they did come off that they didn't feel they needed to. So.
Yeah, I think in the second period there, they blew the whistle at 21 seconds left and went to the third. But I think there was maybe the clock didn't get started or something there.
I think so. That was on the technical violation. So I think that's where we're at. So we'll get it straightened out here. The earlier and right now, I guess the girls are still wrestling, but girls wrestled, opened up with Decorah, which I tell you is jumping right into the frying pan as well. As Decorah is ranked number 1 in 1A. But we wrestled really well. We lost 42-33, but really wrestled them pretty well.
He said smile.
Getting back to action here. Decorah chooses down.
Mikey kind of working a crossface there, looking to post the arm. Trying to set up a cradle here, it looks like.
Yeah, Decorah looks like he's really just kind of posting up here. Maybe trying to get that leg out, but not doing a whole lot. But okay, we got to really work on still trying to get him broken down, get him on his belly, and then we can get in some pinning combinations. But all things that just keep learning.
Yeah, I think as we talked about and alluded to, that group in the wrestling room, they're all going to get better, and that's going to be part of it.
But you've got to think with having.
There's an escape.
Yep. Having a lot of other guys to wrestle in that wrestling room's got to be helpful. Whereas I think for Decorah, they're 215 and it's listed as open at 285. That tells me they don't have a lot of big guys to wrestle every day in practice. So, hopefully that is to our advantage.
Yeah, we got an 8-2 match. Mikey Bailey with about 45 seconds to go in the third period. We'd really like to find another takedown and tie this match up 4-4 here with a major.
Well, and it's one of those things where, if you're the Decorah wrestler, you're down 8-2. You need to get that offense going and try to score. So, hopefully we can remain aggressive ourselves and or score off a mistake that they might make. There's
another nice
shot.
Single. Finger on your feet.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
He did a really nice job picking that up and turning that.
Boy, that's the second one he's finished.
Yeah.
Just identical. That was a great shot, and we're down to 3 seconds here. We're going to get a major decision win for Independence.
That's a big one.
11-2.
That last takedown was big, so it was good. Well, it looks like Decorah does have a heavyweight. They're going to march out here, so we don't know who that is. But for Indy, we've got Gable Eddy coming out. Gable really had a nice year last year. There's a guy who has, if anything else, a really good gas tank.
Boy, I tell you what, there was a lot of matches I shook my head in that third period. The kid never quit.
No.
He had some really, really good competition on the ropes.
Yeah.
That they didn't feel like he belonged, and boy, he come out and surprised a lot of people.
He's a go-forward guy as well, and boy, I appreciate watching that.
You talk about gas tanks. He's a kid that will not quit, and it doesn't matter how much time's on the clock. He's going to keep coming.
So it looks like this is Ethan Coonan, who was listed at 215. So I guess I'm not sure who was wrestling 215. It may have been Adrian Smith for them. But this is Ethan Coonan, at least when I check the track wrestling. So.
I allude to this again, but we kind of got thrown into the first match here. We didn't get much time to settle in and take a look at anything here.
No.
So.
No, that's all right. There's going to be a lot of wrestling the rest of the season, which I tell you I'm really excited about, and I think it's going to be a fun season. Certainly, looking at Coach Doyle coaching in the corner over there, the lineup that we have now certainly will get nothing but better as the year goes, and it's going to be an exciting season. We have a lot of upside potential for sure.
We talked about this, a little bit beforehand, but Coach Doyle, he's got a record of 474 and 224. He's 26 wins away from 500, which, he's already in the top 15 best all-time Iowa, dual record for coaches, and I would suspect that's going to go up quite a bit this year with the group of kids he's got.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a good opportunity to be able to hit that 500 towards the end of the season. That would be 26 dual wins, which is a lot for the season, but it's definitely doable. And when he hits 500, which he certainly will, he will be in the top 10 all time for wins.
Pretty impressive.
That's really remarkable.
Pretty impressive. Once again, I'm Danny Johnson alongside Kurt House, giving you hold by hold here at the Independence Mustangs take on Decorah. Independence in the black singlets, the National Guard night National Guard's donated some singlets to tonight. What a great cause, and fun to see this happening for the high schoolers.
Yeah, what a great marketing tool for everybody, and it's just such a neat thing. And I think that's one of the things that I've seen here in Independence has always been, it's always what's the next thing, and whether it's singlets from the National Guard, it's those types of things, and it's a really neat. I think as an athlete, it's just a lot of fun to do, and hopefully, and I do know that these young guys and gals appreciate that. So
yeah. Well, we're into the second period here. Eddie won the toss. He deferred. Decorah chose down. Coonan chose down. We're still knotted up here, 0-0 with 1:40 to go in the second period.
And so far, this is a bit of a Gable-Eddy match from what I've seen, where sometimes in that first period there's a lot of pushing and there's not always a lot of scoring, but it's continuous pressure, and we'll see if he can get this pressure and get some near fall points here. So
we got a potentially dangerous on the edge. We're going to come back and get a restart here in the middle. Decorah is still going to be down. Eddie on top, 0-0 here.
We're going to see a number of new faces in the lineup, potentially. I think there are a few freshmen who will make our lineup, and a lot of veteran faces as well. So and it gets a 1-point escape. Gable continues to kind of work that inside tie and collar. Of course, as soon as he said he left, there you go. But just kind of give that forward pressure. And
that's been about the third, and he got the stall call.
Yeah.
That's about the third time he's been shoved out of bounds, and Gable's been rewarded with the stall call. Another thing, Coach Doyle talked about 14 freshmen on this lineup, and anytime you have 14, these first few duels are super important to get some kids action, whether it's at the JV level, the varsity level, which they've got. That freshman class has got a beautiful mix of kids to fill. So going to be exciting to see these kids grow throughout the year and through their careers here.
A lot of these freshmen come with really quite a bit of AAU experience and a lot of experience coming in. But this is a little bit different story. We're making really real weight for mostly for the first time in wrestling on a high school level. So it's fun to see the maturation of these wrestlers really as the year goes.
Now we're going to come to the end of the second period. It's a 1-0 match. This match is decided by an escape so far, Kurt. Let's see what the last 2 minutes. We talked about Gable and what he brings to the table in this third period.
And again, this looks a lot like a lot of matches we watched and win last year, and which is good. So going to keep coming up here. Really, probably just trying to need to control some hands and get that one, and then we'll work from there. So there's some JV matches going on kind of at the same time with our camera setup today. We're only able to show on this mat 3, which is varsity, but try to keep track of them a little bit, but it's kind of hard to do both.
Sawyer Whelan, stepping up on the JV match, another, exciting freshman to watch. He's going to do nothing but get better. We have, we looked at, we have 3 or 4 of those Whelans all at the same weight coming into the season, which, pretty interesting for the family, really.
Well, they kind of grow them all the same size. There's no doubt about that. So spreading them apart would be helpful. But
so we do have an escape here on the varsity mat. It's 1-1.
Yeah. And we got to remember, Decorah has a stalling warning on him. So if we can keep getting a lot of forward pressure, we might get a stall call on that. Pummeling inside there, getting that underhook.
The ref's not liking the locking fingers there. Eddie's working an underhook on the right side.
Yeah, it goes that heavy collar tie and underhook and just that forward pressure.
He's got to push him out again here.
He does.
You know, that's got to be. Boy, he didn't give him the stall, but I think he keeps working that. He's going to get it.
Yeah, like I said, with that underhook, and I don't know if he'll try to pop that up and snap a single off that side, but I think Decorah is kind of waiting for him to try to shoot, but he himself's not doing any action. Oh, no, he can lock it up. Nope, there we go.
Boy, a little bit of a scramble there, and Decorah was in on the leg, and Eddie did a nice job of getting back. Now we're in a little bit of a throw situation.
Yeah. Keep that. He's got a whizzer. Kid from Decorah. Up, timeout. So
we're going to go to overtime here.
Yep.
Third match of the night, heavyweight here. It's tied 1-1. Overtime, 1 minute overtime here.
Exciting stuff here for a heavyweight. Oh,
a little
nice.
ankle pick there.
That was nice. Just didn't quite get him pushed over the top of it, but it was nice. So we haven't seen a lot of action from Decorah. He's maybe going to try to counter, but
Eddie trying to lock up an underhook, and the arms behind just doesn't quite get it locked, and they go out of bounds. We'll reset with 26 seconds left in the first overtime.
You know, Gable does a pretty nice job of really trying to stay square with him. Off the counter, he keeps in pretty good position. Honestly, so.
Little snap into a front headlock situation. Decorah backs out of it. Down to 10 seconds left here.
These big boys going straight into overtime. The first match of the year makes it a little tough for him. Oh, there we go.
He got the three.
There we go.
He got the three right at the 1 second mark. Boy, that was tough.
Yeah, once
again, we talked about it. The kid just doesn't give up.
No.
He keeps battling until the end. Really big win for Independence there.
Yeah, we're going to need all of these, for us. Again, this is going to be a tight duel, which is great. That's what we come here to do. It's, we roll through them. But, for Indy, we're going to have, I believe, Braden Tegmeyer. And I'll see what pops up here on the computer once they do this. Yeah. Guess we have, let's see. Mason Tollefson is at 106 for Decorah, but Braden Tegmeyer, freshman for Indy. Watched him play a little freshman football this year. I don't know what Braden's weight is, but it can't be a whole lot more than 106. So.
Got a little bit of scramble, gave up three. It's going to be 3-0 Decorah here.
Decorah coming a long, lanky 106-pounder. And, they got that tight waist, which is wrapped all around, getting the leg in. So not surprising, going to be a legger here at the long, lanky body.
And, once again, these freshmen come in and they get broke in pretty rapidly. They're going to see some things that maybe they haven't seen before, and you might be wrestling a kid that's 2-3 years older than you. He's in big trouble here. He needs to find a way to get to his. Yeah, he's going to end up giving up the fall here at 106.
Tough matchup, I think. Right off out of the get-go for him, but we'll live and learn and move on to 113 here. And he's going to have another freshman here with Ben Anderson. At 113, and Decorah find out. Anderson's had quite a bit of experience. I know he has wrestled a lot of AAU and has had a lot of off-season wrestling, so he's got a lot of mat time. We expect a lot of good things out of him.
Yeah, I would think, get the nerves burn off here a little bit in the first period and come out and do your thing.
Yeah.
Well, we're set to go here at 113.
Decorah's got Kelton Casterston Listed here on 126, they're wrestling 113. So, and again, that's another issue where we're seeing a lot of guys who, just not going to be at the same weight that they're listed at, and most of them may be up. Oh, that's
nice little carry.
That was a really nice carry. Did a nice job, kept that wrist and right away working.
Well, he's got it set up for a little tilt here, it looks like. He's going to go after it.
I like his aggressive wrestling here.
So we start the duel at 190. We're currently at 113. Decorah's got a 10-7 lead. Pretty early on in this. Like I say, I think it really looks like both teams feeling each other out a little bit. Moving some kids around, maybe not at the weight that they're going to be settling in at for the year.
And that's what you're going to get in these early duels. These guys, particularly the varsity guys, are going to get a lot of matches in just this week. And most of them are going to come out here with dual, with one match tonight, and probably another 7 or 8 on the weekend. So, by the time you get to the end of the week, and you're sitting at 8 or 9 matches for a week.
Yeah, and this week's going to be the tester.
Yeah.
So we got a 3-0 lead. Benny Anderson, 53 seconds left first period. He traps the arm, works into a bar here.
He's trying to keep that inside wrist and go.
He's got it.
He does. He does.
Really doing a nice job on top, breaking him down, working the things he wants to work here. It continues one thing right into the next. Doing a nice job on his combinations here.
Yeah, a lot of pressure, making the Decorah, wrestler work hard from underneath, and that's to your advantage. So, going to restart him here. I think they thought is a little bit potentially dangerous, but hopefully get after it here. Oh,
boy, nice attempt at a tilt there. Still working at it, but boy, working some nice things and looking comfortable out there. That's what we really like.
Well, like I said, he's really doing a nice job of going from one combination to the other, and that's nice. Yeah.
Scooting in nice on that, getting it tightened up.
Yeah, it's not thinking he's got to 45. And again, 2 count gets you 2 points, a 3 count is 3 points, and 4 count or more is a 4-point near fall this year.
Well, that's the end. So Benny Anderson defers. It's to Decorah on the decision. Decorah's going to choose down. It's 3-0 Benny Anderson here. Start of the second period.
Hopefully we continue with chopped up off the whistle pretty quick. Get a mat return. Nice, all right.
Nice job. Pin the arm right away. Got him back flat again. Working a little cross face here.
Yeah, good action. He's really been really active up top, and good to see. So, and I think if you're the Decorah wrestler, you get up off the whistle pretty fast, and they bring you back down to the mat. Kind of a little disheartening.
Working a butcher here. He's really wrenching it around. The kid's fighting it, but boy, he's got it hooked well. Went back around. Now he's looking to get the cradle here.
And keep that for the cradles.
Starting to get some text messages, people listening in, so that's always nice to hear, guys. We appreciate all the listeners and all the texts.
Yeah, we do appreciate the listeners, certainly, and it's more fun than Danny, you and I just sitting here talking to each other, though we would just sit here and talk to each other anyway.
That's the way it was going to work. We had a plan last year. We were going to just go to meets together. Well, now we're really going to do it because we're going to broadcast them.
That's right. Potentially dangerous once again, so we get it stopped and restarted. Got 50 seconds to go here in the second period. He's really done a really nice job of riding. Nice. I think he's going to keep working him here. I think he's going to get him over, get some near fall points here. He's really done a nice job of wearing this kid down. So.
Yeah, he really hasn't had much time to be off his belly. Benny's done a really nice job of keeping him broke down and working arm bar to anything here. He's been, there's another tilt.
He hits that tilt hard.
He's
just having a hard time getting some near fall points there. So.
Yep. Got his 3 count, I believe.
Yep.
No, 2 count.
Okay, we'll take that.
So that opens the score to 5-0. 4 seconds left, second period. We're going to go to the third period with Benny's choice here.
Yeah, we'll see what where we're choosing. We're going to choose. Got a blood timeout. That is that's something we get a lot of here in wrestling. Is some blood timeouts, especially early, middle, late. Somebody's always bleeding. So
yeah, for sure. You know, we look at the Mustangs and what they've done here at home since the new school's been built. You know, we talked about it. You know, I think it's around the 10 years. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, my year or two I may be. But Independence Wrestling's 48-11 in this gym, Kurt.
Well, and as we talked about it, and I'm sure that you and I have probably been to all of those duels over that time. I have a hard time remembering the last time that we lost here that wasn't the West Delaware duel, and which is great to be able
nice
to say.
stand up, nice stand
really
up.
Nice, good footwork on that. Had hand control, backed out. So got a nice 6-0 lead here. It's another thing going well. All right, if we can get a takedown. Now we're going into another major and getting some bonus points.
Boy, nice pressure on the head there. Come around, hooks the leg. He's going right into a cradle. No, he's going to get the 3 near fall, but he's still got the cross face and looking for more here.
He's really had a nice pace here wrestling. He's maintained great control. Minute 21 to go here. Again, trap that arm. He's looking good. He certainly is a polished freshman. There's no doubt about that.
You alluded to, the lot of mat time. Watched him at the middle school level. Boy, he really does a nice job, and you can see that he's polished here.
I don't know exactly where his weight is, but as Dad said, he makes 113, pretty easily. And I don't think he has to even cut a whole lot of weight to get to 113. So, that leaves this year
another 3 point.
Another 3. This year after the Christmas break, you get the 2-point weight allowance, but you don't have to have had down to scratch. So if you're wanting to wrestle 106, you can be 108 and never having to hit 106.
Well, that's a nice rule change.
It is.
I know that was a factor, as my kids went through, you wanted to make sure you got down to a weight and hit it scratch before Christmas because you really wanted that 2 pounds.
Well, and it makes a little bit more sense because, quite frankly, that 2 pounds is always for growth. We're getting these young guys and gals, and they're growing. Well, if you're growing, you're really not able to get to that scratch weight necessarily. So,
I really like you. A lot of times you look at these younger guys, and that's the end for us here. We're going to have a major decision from Benny Anderson, 12-1. Mustangs are going to get 4 there.
Really nice match out of Ben Anderson. Really nice, impressive win. So
that puts the Mustangs in front, 11-10, after 113.
Indy, now we've got Zach Homan coming in at 120. Zach with a lot of varsity experience this last year. He's been a 113-pounders and 106-pounders. He's wrestled varsity the last few years. And
just a scrappy young kid. We talked about Gable Eddy earlier with the effort he gave a lot last year. Holman wasn't any different. It didn't matter if he was wrestling a kid that was, ranked second in the state or unranked. He gave a lot of effort and competed in a lot of matches.
Yeah, he definitely did. And same, it's a lot of that real long, lanky, just
a nice takedown.
Really nice.
Really nice takedown off the whistle there.
He's wrestling Andrew Bork, B-J-O-R-K, I assume it's Bork, for Decorah. So that's where you want to start that match. Go right after it and get the scoring started. So.
Boy, got the arm pinned in and looking for a tilt early here.
Yeah.
Switches off to a cross face. We're looking for a cradle. Nice. He's got a hook.
Well, he is nice. That's looking good tight. Here. That's tight.
That's a fall.
Attaboy.
That's a fall for Holman. That's a big fall.
Well, I talk about getting right after it. He came out, had a 3-point takedown, and right into it, and gets the fall in the first period. No messing around. Fantastic.
So we're 17-10 through 120 here. Getting kind of the middle way through the lineup here. The Mustangs are up by 7. Got Remy Wrestler going to come out here at 126. the Mustangs.
Remy's a senior who is one of those guys who has had a lot of varsity wrestling time, but never consistently the varsity guy. He's always been at a weight where there's one of our absolute hammers. This kid's a great wrestler, and I give him a lot of credit. He's hung in there. He's a strong guy, and he's a competitor.
Yeah. I'm not too wrapped around rankings, but he's been behind some ranked kids for 3 years straight, and deserving of some opportunities, and I think you'll really see throughout the matches this year the potential he has.
He's wrestling Michael Clement at 126. Unfortunately, we don't really can't tell you how old this guy is or what his record has been, but he's the guy, 126. Well, and he's kind of got another one of those issues again this year where Tanner Wilson is out right now with an injury, but he'll be back I think after Christmas, and that adds another hammer in the middle of this lineup that he's going to have to compete against. So.
And Tanner last year, some unfortunate things. We talk about state, but in his district, he had the number 1 ranked kid and the number 3 ranked kid. I mean, he ran up against a buzzsaw, and probably a podium-type kid last year, and doesn't make the state tournament.
Yeah, I contend that at 126 pounds, you won't find a stronger 126-pounder in the state, I think, than Tanner Wilson. So, I mean, and whether he's at 126 or whether the lineup gets moved around, we'll find out. Could be at 32. I don't know where he's going to be, but it's a good problem to have if you're indie wrestling.
It certainly is. Well, we got 25 seconds left here in the first period, 3-0. Remy's kind of went through the leg here, looking to get out. He's
kind of getting that scramble.
Yeah, he was right in a good position there to keep moving, but he didn't quite get out.
There we go. Clear to the hips.
4 seconds to go. I thought maybe he was going to get the one there.
I did too.
Well, looks like we're going to go into the second period, 3-0.
Right in this match, obviously with the 3-point takedowns now. I mean, we're right in this match, so it's going to be Decorah's choice, and it looks like he's taken down. So Remy's going to save it for.
I'd venture to say I've seen a cradle or two, so I'd be watching for that. Looks like he's really arching his butt there to try to prevent that from getting hooked, but Remy's got a really nice posted crossface there.
He does. And he just keeps sliding that up. That's what we're like. He's got it deep.
Oh, he's got it. He's got the cradle hooked here. Oh, he got out.
Good action.
Oh, he's going to a near side and got it hooked. He's getting back points here.
Near fall points. Tough one to get a fall from that, but you're going to get those points, which
he got
there we
3.
Go.
Now
adjusted.
He's going to have the 3 near fall, which is going to tie this match up with 1:10 to go in the second period.
Yeah.
Remy's still working the near side cradle here. Yeah, just got that broke. So we're going to get the 3 awarded, 3-3.
Let's keep working this.
Got a little high there and rolled right underneath. Going to be a reversal, 2-point reversal. Decorah's going to be ahead 5-3.
These Decorah wrestlers, fairly quick and slippery.
Remy's kind of coming around, trying to square up.
Needs to get that arm back. 27 seconds to go. Always trying to
pin the elbow and keep coming.
There we go. Going to be reversal.
20 seconds to go here, looking for a reversal. There it's going to be.
Let's go.
5-5, 15 seconds to go, second period.
He's got the leg. He's going to lock this up. It's a near fall. Not sure what was that going on there.
Just hold on. Oh,
another reversal.
There's a reversal back.
Goodness. I'm glad I'm not having to score. That should be a fall. Wow.
We're going to have a 7-7 barn burner going into the third period here. That was tough to call there for a minute. I didn't know who was in control.
It was confusing.
Oh, they're going to give him back points as well. So we're going to have 10-7. Remy's going to be leading this going into the third period.
I'll tell you what, if there was another 2 seconds on that clock, I'm thinking he's getting the fall.
That was tight.
Yeah.
That was locked up tight.
All right, we're going to get that cradle once again. Hopefully we can control this a little bit more. Oh, he's going
suicide. And he's got it hooked deep. That's a fall.
I think he's done.
He got it. Remy Wrestler with the fall. Good hard-fought match there.
It's a great match. Those are the matches that, if you're going to beat a good Decorah team, you got to win and get those bonus points. So, great match by Remy. 132 pounds and...
Well, we're going to have another look at a freshman here. A good promising Carver Whelan. Heard a lot of good things. We talked about Benny Anderson. Carver's going to be very similar. A lot of mat time, a lot of experience. Excited to see him get going in his varsity career here.
Well, and he's going to jump right in it. He's got Gavin Knutson, who is ranked number 2 at 113. Obviously, he's not 113 pounds, but that shows you maybe the pedigree of where he's at. But, a great measuring stick here for Carver right away.
Well, one thing I can assure you, in the room, he's wrestling some tough kids.
Yeah.
He's not in unfamiliar territory.
No. He's got to battle every day. He's got the shin whizzer he's trying to hold off, but gives up a 3-point takedown. Now here's where we'll, see what, all right, can we gather ourselves, get our arms back, and
that was a quick reach through on that front near side cradle, and he's got the leg hook.
Yeah.
Got to break hands here.
Yeah, he's Knutson here is their highest ranked wrestler, and again, he's ranked in 113. But he's obviously he's looking pretty tough here right now. But Whelan's doing a really nice job of battling this off.
I think you look at the position he's in to stay off his back here. What a battle he's given.
Well, showing some great flexibility and good fight here.
Got 30 seconds to go, first period.
Pretty nice crowd again, tonight, which is always happens here in Independence. We always bring a nice crowd for wrestling. Doing a really good job. Just keep on battling that leg.
Down to 9 seconds here with no back points. I tell you what, this is pretty impressive.
This is. I'm not sure that he's not going to.
Once again,
precarious.
I tell you what, it just shows you a lot of heart that he gave right there.
Kidding.
It just shows you a lot about him and his abilities.
Well, it was impressive. I mean, there's no panic in this freshman. He's like, I got to take him down. They're trying to take me over. I've been here before, and maybe not on a varsity mat, but I've been here, and he did a really nice job with that. So.
Well, it started the second period here. Carver chooses down, gets his 1-point escape right away. Up and out, 3-1.
Yeah. I think he's got Decorah's attention now. Yeah, 3-1 match.
Try to get his leg back here.
Yeah, did a nice job with that whizzer, and nice hip it in on that whizzer.
Turn and face. He's got his legs free now. Yep, back to their feet they go.
It's a great counter. Good work on that. Now I'd like to see him, hopefully get into his offense and take some shots and see what he can do.
Oh, there's a good carry attempt.
Yeah, it is.
Really nice attempt, and nothing hurt there.
No.
Single leg, in on it deep. Lifting it up. He's going to finish this.
Look at that.
He's got it finished.
Wow. That was a beautiful. He had that little carry, then he just dove both legs in, snapped the single, and took him down.
I tell you what, he's got a 4-3 lead, and he has got a cross-face hooked deep on the forearm, looking for back points here.
He's so long and lanky, and he's sliding up. And
he's really close to hooking a cradle here.
Yes, he is.
I think he's got it hooked. He's
Goodness.
pulling him over.
Goodness.
He's pulling him over. He's going to go back points.
Yes, he is.
He's got the bottom knee in the side
He's
here.
got 22 seconds here.
Slide your knee just a little bit. There you go. There you go. That's pretty flat.
Nice. Oh,
He's going to get the fall. He's going to get the fall.
That's fall. That's a fall.
Call the ball.
Yeah.
Got it. Got the fall.
My goodness.
Wow, you talk about fireworks. Right away
Whelan,
for the freshman.
Carver Whelan, welcome to Varsity Wrestling. You just pinned the number 2 kid at 113. Goodness gracious.
Boy, it just...
That's going to send some people looking, going, whoa, hold on.
Well, welcome to Independence this year.
No kidding. We told you this freshman crew is pretty salty, and that's a fun one right there. So up next for Indy, we've got number 5 ranked Tyler Whelan. Looks like he has Cash Turner.
You know, I watched Carver there. Boy, he has a lot of the same resemblance as Tyler. His demeanors are similar. There's, boy, what a shot that was. Right in on a single.
I like seeing that offense right away out of Tyler.
Well, I do too. And he's looking to set something up right away here.
Yeah.
He's got the 3 takedown, but boy, he's got the near side hooked up, and it's looking like for more here.
Yeah, and it's tight. This kid's neck is getting cranked. I like that. So,
boy, pound for pound, you talked about Tanner, but you know, I'm going to tell you, Tyler's right in that same class at 138.
I think Tyler's one of those kids who has tremendous amount of leverage and grip strength. And again, when he grabs something and he's got leverage, it's tight.
It is really tight. And we're kind of seeing that rule come into play, the 1 point of contact here. You know, it's been a couple times that would have been called out of bounds a year ago. Now he's got the leg hooked on this cradle. It's deep. This kid's in trouble.
Yeah, he is in trouble.
He's got him over now. It's tight. Well, he kind of got rolled through on it.
Just get that leg clear, and now we go.
That's tight.
There we go.
That's tight.
Wow. Back-to-back falls for the Mustangs. So Tyler Whelan coming out here and absolutely taking it to this kid. Great takedown and stacked him up for a fall. So Mustangs starting to roll here a little bit, which is the way we like to see it.
Yeah, after 138, we're sitting 35-10 Independence against the 12th or 13th ranked Decorah Vikings. So Independence with a really nice showing here to start with.
Absolutely. I like the pace. I like how we're wrestling, how we're fighting. So up next, we've got Cam Kramer, who's ranked number 8 here at 144. Looks like he is wrestling Kaysen Tyler. And so Cam is a fun guy to watch, who's a long, lanky, funky wrestler, and sometimes you think, oh my gosh, what is going on? And he comes out on top. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, you never know what's coming. You never take your eyes off him.
No.
It doesn't matter if he's wrestling the number 1 ranked guy or who he's wrestling. He's always fun to watch. And like you say, you never know where he's going with anything.
No.
Right away, he's in on a nice takedown. We're looking at back points.
Beautiful. Just sagged, did a great job, and keep that bottom arm.
Good body control there. He could have rolled
Fantastic.
through. He's really wrenching that, that arm and neck now.
Yes, he is. I tell you, we got 3 kids in a row built very similar and really just getting after it here. Just been fantastic.
There's a fall.
Wow. It's a beautiful start. We're digging that. So fall by Cam Kramer, really coming out and going hard. So we got Logan Bevins here going at 150 for Independence, senior. And he'll be wrestling, not sure yet. But.
Well, we've got after 144, the duel's sitting at 41-10, Kurt. I mean, the Mustangs really putting on a nice show here in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, certainly Coach Doyle has to be happy so far as to how these guys have come out and competed. I know I'm impressed where we're getting at it right now. So this is Will Larson for Decorah, 150.
Hey, how are you?
You know, Logan had some experience last year at the varsity level. You know, a pretty fit kid, you know, strong kid.
I presume he's given up a little bit of weight here. I mean, I don't know what his walking around weight is, but you know, he's probably not any larger than 150 walking around fully dressed. But he's a tough kid. He's a scrap kid. He's quick. So, and he's right there wrestling these guys every day in practice as well. So.
Once again, if you missed it earlier in the broadcast, Independence is in the black singlet tonight. National Guard night here in Independence. You know, they're supplying some singlets for the Independence wrestlers, for the girls and boys both, and pretty sharp looking singlet, really.
Yeah, they're really sharp, and what a cool event. We were talking earlier that. Clear Creek and Manna, you know, their head coach Kyle Fornes is, you know, deployed right now, so they're having, you know, someone to have to come in and coach them for them, and so, you know, that's a kind of a neat tribute into these National Guardsmen, and you know, and really for somebody like Kyle Fornes who has some ties with indie wrestling.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, Kyle, you know, back in you know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Kyle would come in on Sunday nights before he took the Clear Creek job and work with the Independence kids. You know, really spent a lot of time here and making a lot of kids better.
So Logan, you know, kind of gave up these arms here a little bit now. So some near fall points, but again, you know, battling out there. We're down 7-0. Got to find a way to get that arm back at this point.
Well, that's going to go to the second period here, 7-0. It's going to be Green's choice. He's going to defer. Logan defers. It's going to be Decorah taken down.
You know, I am always curious as to, you know, what their thought process is, some of these guys are. So he's had a couple takedowns and he's kind of dominated on top, and then he, you know, immediately chooses the one position that he hasn't scored in, that he doesn't know anything about. Not to say that he won't, but you always wonder about kids and what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as I say that, he gets a 2-point reversal, but making it 9-0. At this point, I think Logan, you know, just has to work on, you know, like getting these arms back, you know, just scoring a point, getting one point escape and start with that.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, let's work on some small things here and work yourself back into a match here.
That being said, it's easier said than done. Having been there,
that cross face he just had was deep, and there we go. He's got his escape. Let's work on your offense here.
Yeah, shoot, see what happens. So
we got a 9-1 match. A minute 10 left in the second period.
Started at 190, so. We'll have 3 more matches after this on the varsity level.
It's going to be another takedown to Decorah. It's going to make it 12-1.
12-1. And that does, you know, we kind of talked about that a little bit before, which is, you know, the challenge with these higher scoring, you know, points. Match termination or those tech falls, you know, come into play a lot sooner.
Well, it certainly does. You know, not only that, we talked about the takedown, you know, the records in Independence, you know, how safe those may be now with more.
Takedown.
With, you know, more takedowns, you know, not probably going to be allowed with 3-point near fall and 4-point near fall in the takedowns.
Keep battling and on to the third period here. So
12-1.
Got to find a way and maybe hope that your opponent's getting a little bit tired. Yeah, okay, I like it. Going to go neutral. You might as well.
You know, Logan. You know, and I think the coaches are seeing the same thing. He's a strong kid. You're into the third period. Looks like his gas tank's doing fine. See if we can get something off our feet here.
Yeah. It's a nice shot there. He really did. The Decorah wrestler did a nice job of lowering his level and getting that ankle and kind of going through it. So nice shot. Makes it 15-1. So one more point and we're going to match termination. And that's probably going to do it here. As long as
We're
we don't
getting
give
some
a
back
foul.
points. Yeah, we got 4 near fall. It's going to make it 19-1. It's going to be it. That's a technical fall.
But even in a duel like this or any of these things, if you're kind of overmatched, right? We gave up 5 team points and not 6. So that sometimes is the win. Sometimes that's what you got to do to win these close duels.
Well, and sometimes these guys that are non-varsity starters, it's tough to explain that to them. That sometimes staying off your back and not giving up a fall or technical is a win.
That's right.
And more often than not, that could be the difference in a duel down the stretch this year.
So next we've got Owen Miller, junior from Independence, who also had a really nice off season. He went to Fargo. He did some stuff. I think he kind of bought into the off season, which is fantastic. And he's wrestling Steven Munoz, who's for Decorah at 197 or 157. Pardon me.
We got a dual score, 41-15. Looking at 3 matches to go here. Got some locking hands in there. We're going to get a restart with 1:30 to go in the first period.
I like this scheduling with Decorah at the beginning of the year now. I always used to start with New Hampton and who else is there? I was on a blank, maybe Charles City. And those are programs that are they're good, but they're not what they used to be. That's a nice,
beautiful little drive-through single there.
Was it?
Going to be 3-0.
You know what I'm liking about Miller is really just wrestling with some confidence. Now he's hitting that cross face a little bit aggressive, which I like. But
yeah, that was plenty aggressive. I think that kid thought so
here.
too.
Yeah, he's going to try to get him turned over to Butcher.
He's really working that arm. He's going to get it.
Yeah.
He lost the one arm there, but he's still working it.
Yeah.
He's got it hooked.
He's got it hooked. Give him a reason to give up. This is what we want right here. Got 4 near fall locked up. Now we're just going to get work for that fall.
Now work on a tee here. Yeah. There he goes. He's got it settled in.
North-south position.
That's a fall.
The fall. That's a great match. I'll tell you, that's another kid who has looked really good that I think, some of the people are going to look at an Independence lineup and say, gosh, who's Owen Miller? And then when they come on and watch him, they're going to know.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good match right there.
So that runs the duel score to 47-15, which brings up Christopher Meyer for Independence. No stranger to Independence wrestling. You start to looking at I hate to say a veteran, but he's kind of becoming a veteran.
Yeah, at this point as a junior, he's wrestled in varsity. He is a veteran. And he's going to have his hands full. He's got Bill Fullhart, and Fullhart is ranked number 9. Again, not that matters, but he was a sophomore and has a lot of credentials himself. But I look for this to be a good match.
I don't think you're going to out-scramble or outwork Christopher Meyer.
No, he's a hard-working young guy who is multi-sport athlete, and I tell you, he gives his all for every one of them.
And we had a little break in the action. They bumped heads. The ref wanted to make sure everybody was all right. We'll get back underway, 0-0, 1:35 left in the first period.
One of the things that I think that we have seen over the last few years is really how physical our kids are and their strength. Our strength and conditioning program with Coach Austin Pink is as good as there is in the state, and our kids are powerful, strong kids.
I done some football broadcasting too, Kurt, and boy, we really talked about that during the football season. It shows up week after week, on the football field as well. So hats off to Coach Pink and everything we do there. And I know there's a lot of volunteers in the summer that help out with that and give a lot of effort to the kids.
Yeah, they put in a lot of time and effort. So it was a nice reshot by Fullhart to get to the leg of Meyer, get that 3-point takedown. Chris is going to have to work hard to get that escape here with 50 seconds to go. So
up to his feet.
Really nice getting to his feet.
Working on the hand control here.
Yep.
Well, I like the effort. Keep coming up. Stay to your base.
was really good action tonight. I felt, for Indy, again, considering we're at this, his first duel, and kind of looking back and remembering from last year the way we started a little flat against Decorah. We won that, but we started a little flat. Obviously, we got going, but these kids are coming out and they're getting after it tonight. So,
yeah, I mentioned that with Coach Doyle, and he just kind of listened, wasn't talking much. But I said that last year. When we left Decorah, and I thought, boy, I don't know where this team goes. And by God, you gave them about 3 weeks, and they were something to watch. They really settled into a lineup, and I think that's kind of the story in Independence. It seems like.
Well, and as we all know, Coach Doyle is a pretty easygoing kind of guy, and that was the rumor, was that the boys had maybe not a great practice the other night, and Coach Doyle kind of got after him a little bit, which he doesn't do very often. He does it maybe once or twice in the season, but boy, when he does, I think they respond, and so far they've looked like they've responded.
Well, we talked about it, and we've seen it tonight. The freshmen. We talked about 14 freshmen. You want to set a precedent. You want to get those kids going in the right direction. And here we go. 1:40 to go in the second period. It's 4-1 Decorah lead over Christopher Meyer. There are a lot of action on their feet, a lot of hand fighting. Christopher with a nice single leg attempt there. Needs to come back to his feet.
Fullhart's got that front headlock going, and which is what he scored on before. So Chris is doing a really nice job of staying square with him there, not letting him get to that leg until he stepped into that. But
nice shot that was.
That was nice.
Chris really did a nice job just to base out there. He could have gave up some back points pretty quickly on that.
We're down 7-1.
Fullhart working, getting the leg tied in here, really trying to set some things up, doing a nice job riding on top. It's tough. Christopher has worked up to his base here.
Fullhart's grown. Last year he was down and had wrestled Tyler Whelan, and so he's certainly gotten quite a bit bigger, and he lost to Whelan in an overtime match in his first high school.
I was going to say, if anybody remembers this name, they'll remember that he gave Tyler a scare right away, the first match of the year last year. And no surprise that he's in the rankings and comes out wrestling like this right away this year.
Well, the Fullhart name out of Decorah, certainly, comes with some prestige, so.
Well, we worked the out-of-bounds line here. We're approaching the end of the second period. We got 7 seconds left. We're going to restart here in the middle, 7-1. Meyer's still down. See if he can get a little something going here with 7 seconds to go.
Nice coming up right off the whistle. He's working for that hand control. But,
he's got it.
He does. He's got one.
Got a really nice escape there. That's a good way to finish the period.
If you can, score last in those periods and, score with 4 seconds to go, you're generally going to do pretty well. He's got a little hole to dig out of here now, but he'll keep wrestling hard, there's no doubt.
7-2, start of the third period. Independence leading the duel, 47-15.
And I'll tell you, 47-15 is it's a little more of a blowout than I anticipated. I know we're not done, but that's testament to our guys and getting ready to go.
Yeah, really impressive. Like you say, I think, from the young guys doing a really nice job. Most of your experienced guys coming out and really having at it here.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice to have a good matchup before the Cliff Keene. I think that really, you've been in the room wrestling the same guys, 2-3 guys for a couple weeks now. It's nice to get some fresh blood and get out and get against a guy that's going to push you a little bit.
Boy, I agree. I think, coming out and having a tough duel and a tough matches like this is really important if you want to wrestle well in the Cliff Keene, because that's the competition we're going to see over the weekend.
And it's not going to take long to jump into that.
No.
Got an escape there at 7-3, but Decorah's right back in on a good single leg shot here, Kurt.
I tell you, Fullhard does a really nice job. He drops down on that low leg, that single, and just builds that base and comes up. And
boy, he was super patient there too.
He does. He's as advertised. There's no doubt.
10-3 with an intentional release. Meyer in on a shot. Needs to lift that up.
Yeah. He gets in on that shot, but not able to really kind of get up and do much from there. So hopefully get that scramble going. 29 seconds to go. 10-4 match. He's wrestling Fullhard pretty well here. And I tell you, you get a takedown, and all of a sudden it's 10-7. So
I like this.
I
Right back in onto a shot here.
Fullhard really does a nice job of coming around. Oh, nice counter. Almost had a standing switch off that. So, not sure.
Boy, Meyer did a really nice job of not giving up and keeping circling. 4 seconds to go here. We're looking at a 10-4 match. I really like the effort down the stretch here. I mean,
I do too.
Christopher's had an uphill battle. This young man's a good wrestler. And that's going to be it. Just going to be a 10-4 decision loss. We're going to have the duel at 47-18.
And I think Fullhard's a kid who is is a podium contender at that weight, and I think Chris is right there with him. So and he'll get nothing but better at the end of as the year goes. So up next at 175, we've got Carter Reddy, again another one of these freshmen, for Indy. And looks like he has Braden Darling at 175. So
yeah, we've mentioned this several times. He's another young man that's got a lot of mat experience. I really look for big things and a lot of growth as we go through the year.
Yeah.
And as a freshman at 175, you're going to take some lumps. I mean, there's no way around it. You're going to be wrestling some juniors, seniors most of the year. You're probably going to have a year of growth and get a lot better.
Yeah, for sure, and that's really what you look at, for your wrestlers, and and we've got a fairly deep weight this weight, and so we've got some guys who can come in and out, but it's great. We'll get some experience, and these guys are going to be significantly better towards the end of the year.
I like the stand up right away.
I do too.
Trying to get some hand control here. Working hard. Do a little knee slide there. Let's get up.
Get that hand control up. Diving in and getting that ankle. Now he's got to come up and do something with it. Getting a 3-0 if we can. And you wonder, first match, right away, you're going, the nerves.
That's a factor. I mean, I think, you're in a minute or two here. You start to, he started to do some better things. The scramble started to look like he might be able to come out on top. I really like where this could go. There's our first escape,
there you go,
3-1.
Right, and 3-1 now, work your offense.
He's got the little undercut. He's controlling the wrist.
Yeah, he's got the nice wrist control with that, with that underhook, and from there sometimes the other thing too is you get in those situations and you got to think, okay, now what am I going to do, and.
Looks like he's trying to really work a double underhook there, and the kid was really backing out there.
I'm not really sure what offense. I'm trying to figure out what Decorah's kind of been working. You realize they had a lot of offense. He really just scored initially on that takedown as a scramble, so I'm not really sure. We'll see. Good.
So Eddie's going to have the choice here. He's going to go down. It's 3-1, second period. Mustangs leading the duel 47-18.
A little quicker coming up. Again, not quite getting hand control, but we can trap. Decorah's kind of trying to trap that ankle, but he's coming down on his own hip. We can trap that hip down. We can work a 2-point.
He's got the leg unhooked.
Yeah.
I say. Doing a nice job of staying on his base and working hard here.
Yep. And that's been the theme. That's the thing that we have seen tonight. And that's the best thing we can come out of this is saying, gosh, it looks like we have worked hard all night. And really, in every match, I can't think of a match where I went, we kind of gave up. We just have not had one of those matches tonight. So it's exciting to see. It's a 3-1 match. There we go.
Reversal.
Nice. So that's going to tie that up. Now we're 3-3. So let's see what Carter Eddy can do on top here.
Working across face right away here.
And he's got that fairly deep. Now he's going to go to the Butcher.
Going to Butcher. He's got that tight.
Yes.
He's got him over.
Yeah.
He's in trouble.
He's in deep weeds.
Carter's going to get the fall.
Oh, that's a great way to structure.
Boy, the freshman really.
Wow.
So is the freshman class really showed up tonight. They did a wonderful job. Well, that's the end of the duel. That's going to be 53-18. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back to finish things up here from Independence.
It's the first one for a lot of us. Yeah.
Well, welcome back to Independence Mustang Wrestling. We grabbed Coach Doyle here real quick. Coach, what a night. The freshmen really showed up, and we thought they fought hard. What are your thoughts tonight, Coach?
We've been working really hard in practice. So a lot of times you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, but I liked what we got because, I've been seeing it in practice. Kids have been working hard. Kids have been responding to what we've been asking them to do, and you could see it tonight. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm a freshman. It doesn't matter if I haven't been in the varsity lineup before. We got kids that are going out there being aggressive against good kids. Decorah's, I don't know what rankings are or whatever, but I think they're pretty close to what we are. And, I felt like our guys were aggressive. Our guys were dictating the pace. Our guys were pushing it. And I'm just proud that they came out with that mindset and executed it well.
Yeah, Coach, that was great. We saw all the freshmen do well, but I want to focus on Carver Wheeland a little bit. Really come out and gave up some points right away, but boy, he come back with a vengeance. Great job not going to his back in that first period, staying in the match, and then comes back and gets a big win for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Carver's a kid that's been putting in a lot of time. He's a very athletic kid, and we're glad he's a freshman.
Yeah.
But yeah, he works super hard. Comes from a wrestling family, and they work hard, and Carver's the one that's asking questions and staying after practice and, trying to get whatever edge he can. And so you can kind of notice that tonight. He wrestled a kid, I think, got 4th in state maybe last year, 5th in state, I don't know, at a lower weight. But that doesn't matter to Carver. He's going to go out and wrestle as hard as he can. And like I said, he's always asking questions. He's always looking for an edge to get better. He's one of the last kids to leave the wrestling room. So yeah, it's a great feeling for him to go against a good kid and for the match to end up the way it did.
Well, we talked about it real quick here. It's a nice opening night to prepare for the weekend with the Cliff King